Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon ready to secure a third Canadian title. Behind them, Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe. Their silver lining is another visit to the world stage, but second is not secure. Breathing down their necks, LaFave and Markov. The free dance is next at the Nationals.
CTV proudly presents coverage of the 2005 BMO Financial Group Canadian Figure Skating Championships from the John Labatt Center in London, Ontario, where it's closing time. Final day of competition. Final medals to be awarded today. Hi, everybody. Welcome back inside the arena. Backstage, I'm Dave Randorf. I am in the backstage area where all the skaters and judges prepare to go through those curtains right there to perform their program. Then they come back in here, they watch, and they wait. And that's exactly what we are going to do over the next hour. We are going to watch and wait to see whether or not Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon can win their third Canadian dance title. They are the defending champions, and they have the lead going into the free dance final. It's been quite a week of skating here, some spectacular performances, and we have seen two new Canadian champions crowned. Both of those skaters did it with performances that were career bests. On Friday night, Joanne Rochette went out and laid down the best free skate we've seen anywhere in the world. And then last night, Jeffrey Buttle won his first Canadian title, taking that honor away from Emmanuel Sandou. And just like Rochette's, Buttle's skate was special. Definitely worthy of another look, and that's exactly how we are going to start our show today by taking you back last night. Big crowd on hand to watch the men's free skate final, and here's how it looked and sounded as Buttle went out there and nailed it. It's been a long time since London hosted a Canadian Nationals, way back in the 70s, and they've done a great job and a great facility here this week, and it all concludes today with the free dance final. Here's Rod and Tracy.
All right, thank you, David. Backstage, Marie-France Dubreuil, Patrice Lauzon. We're getting ready for the final flight, and there are the hometown kids, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. The Moir family has had to buy a lot of tickets, I think, this week. They even got parking spaces out here, and they are having a ball. They currently are in 4th place. There is a theme this week as well of junior teams making their jump to the senior level, and Scott and Tessa, being junior champions, make the move up, and this is the second-ranked junior team from last year. Here are Lauren Sempt and Leif Gislason.
They've spent most of the season battling injuries and have only been back on the ice. They were off for 8 months, have only been back on the ice for a month. They have a chance to earn a spot on the junior world team. Here's their free dance to the music, Atilantos. This is a free dance. It was choreographed by the Lithuanian ice dance team, Dubreuil and Lauzon. You can see it's the same free-flowing movements, and you know, they've worked so hard to get themselves in competition shape. They've done quite a remarkable job. But they said during the time off, because of the injury, they just found they missed skating so much, it's kind of renewed their passion for the sport. And that kind of shows up a little bit off there in the twizzle. That would be the lack of training, but otherwise they're skating with a lot of speed. And watch how they get down into their knees and have big strides across the ice. Lovely lift there. Well, they're sitting in 6th place at this point in the competition, and not only they'll be trying to win a spot on the junior world team, but if they could make it up into the top 5, then that allows them to compete on the senior level internationally next year, and also to receive some much needed funding.
Samten Gislason. Leif from Winnipeg. Lauren is from Vancouver. Been together a short time. They are alone in first place right now with the final flight to come from London. Well, the ice dancers getting ready. Marie-France Dubreuil, Patrice Lauzon, poised for a 3rd Canadian title. Theirs to lose. They should have another one wrapped up, and we'll go to the World Championships. Likely to be joined by Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe, and I know everybody's saying, well, wait a second. Chantal LaFave and Arseny Markov are in 3rd place, very close. I suppose Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir could shock the Canadians here, and they might move in, but we should point out that Arseny Markov is a Russian, does not have the right residency yet, and under ISU rules could not go to the World Championships. Let's explain that more in a few moments as the ice dancers head to the warm-up. But this is the final day of the Canadians. We should put a ribbon on the world team. We have had some spots already selected.
Well, of course, there's no question that Joanne Rochette will be leading the charge for the Canadian team to Worlds, and joining her, Cynthia Phaneuf, for the first time at Worlds at the senior level.
This World Championship, very important in Moscow, by the way. It also will determine how many placements you have for the Olympic Games. There are the pairs that will go, Marcoux and Bunton, Wakamatsu and Fecteau. Now, Utako Wakamatsu is also Japanese-born. However, she has been in the country long enough and has been together with John Sebastian long enough that they would represent Canada.
And we just watched Jeffrey Buttle's performance, so we know he's in fine form to compete at the World Championships, and Emmanuel Sandou will be hoping that his work on the quad will pay off, because all year he's been planning to get that quad at the World Championships to challenge the defending champion Plushenko.
It was a disappointing Worlds, the first time in a long time that Canada did not win a medal. The Crazy Eights, everybody finished in 8th. That was our highest place finish last year, including in dance, Marie-France Dubreuil, Patrice Lauzon. Here are Virtue and Moir. First trip to the senior level nationals. They get in the final flight, and this says a lot about how good this team is. They are just youngsters, but they've been skating together forever.
Yes, they have, and they have been competing at the junior level. They finished 2nd at the Junior Grand Prix final. They won the free dance portion of that competition, And we all expect that they will be named to the Junior World team because this is a team that could win the Junior World Championships. Now, to compete here at the senior level, they've had to add another minute to their free dance and extra elements to their free dance, and they are well represented in this audience. All their families and friends here cheering them on. It's quite an emotional crowd.
Yeah, anybody who is not related to Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, please put your hand up. Oh, no, they are related. Those are the brothers. Big brothers are watching. We have Scott Moir. And they have been busy. It's a skating family, skating families from this area. So exciting moment for them. Martine Patenaude and Pascal Denny.
Well, they're sitting in 5th spot right now. And again, that's a national team spot, which means they can compete internationally and receive funding. So they'll be fighting to at least hold on to that spot.
Pascal used to skate with Jose Pichet. Martine used to skate and then took some time off and has been coaching and got together with Pascal, so they continue to skate. A lot of national championships for Pascal Denny. Nowhere near the amount, though, of these two. Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe.
Very popular team also with any Canadian audience, and they won their first medal on the Grand Prix circuit this year. They both combine going to university with their skating. In fact, Megan has just started on a master's degree, and Aaron is finishing up his this year.
All right, now sort out the stuff for me about Arseny Markov and how that works.
Well, the ISU has said to stop skaters from bouncing from one country to another at the World Championships.
And dancers have done this a lot.
Well, dancers and single skaters in Eastern Europe can go and represent whoever needs somebody to try and get a spot at Worlds. So to stop that, the ISU said you have to have 2 years between representing one country and another to compete at an ISU Championships, which includes 4 continents and Worlds. But we understand that their paperwork will be in order for the Grand Prix season starting next year, and they will also be eligible to represent Canada at Worlds and Olympics should they qualify.
Russian influence on this team. Chantal used to skate, of course, with Michelle Brunet. You saw Shaylin Bourne, choreographer as well as a coach now, and she's a solo skater in the pro ranks. Victor Kratz is in the building this week. This is a new era in ice dance, of course, now that Shay and Victor have moved on to other things. But the Russian influence also with Nikolai Morozov. And there are the champions who have taken the title from Bourne and Kratz after they left the sport and continue to really be the dominant dance team in this country. Yes,
and we expect that they will dominate here, and they too have their eyes set ahead at the World Championships, and they'd like to crack the top 5, and the way they intend to do that is by upping the degree of difficulty in their programs. They came out on the Grand Prix circuit this year with some of the very most difficult programs, level 3 footwork sequences and lifts, and you know, it should pay off now for them because they've had a number of competitions to kind of smooth out and refine the difficulty, where it may have hurt them a little bit early on because they were a little bit rough because of the technical content. But I like the way they've addressed this year. They've gone after it aggressively. Very important now that they can smooth everything out and handle the difficulty. And there's Mom, Patrice's mom, watching on, and she's at many of his competitions.
But the Nationals really are about a chance to skate in front of family and friends, a chance to skate in front of a national TV audience. Now here they come. Tessa Virtue, Scott Moir. The kids, 15 and 17. Junior champions last year, just off the Junior Grand Prix circuit. They finished second at the Junior Grand Prix final. They have made some waves, even at a tender age, and like I said, they've been skating since they were tykes together.
And they are chomping at the bit to go here. They can feel the excitement in the crowd. They have to be very careful that they don't push out too hard, too fast. They've got to just kind of keep it at the right level. And you can see from their attitude right now, they'll be interpreting a tango. It's Adios Nonino by Astor Piazzolla.
Now the final minute. That extra minute that you mentioned, they had to add moving from junior to senior. Let's see how they handle it.
So far, so good.
Wow. Brothers Moir. Virtue and Moir. They won't win it this year, but they will someday, soon. Tessa Virtue, Scott Moir. Big brothers Danny and Charlie were beside the boards, congratulating them. Boy, nothing like skating on home ice and not being intimidated by the environment.
Well, they just used it to their advantage, and I've got a feeling this team is going to get a similar reaction even when they're not on home ice. Their qualities are many and quite stunning. The way they stayed in the character of this dance, 15 and 17. But they interpreted this tango beautifully. Look at this twizzle section. The first twizzle with their arms above their head. And you know, that is the area that will trip up even the most seasoned veterans, the twizzles. But not a misstep or a miscue there. Watch the expression. Absolutely exceptional. You know, they're both very musical, and they don't just skate to the music. They feel it, they express it. So, you know, it doesn't feel like it's put on. It feels heartfelt. And that's what brings the audience right onto the ice with them. They turn the ice into a dance floor. Now, their coach and choreographer, Marina Zueva, there in the hat, she used to choreograph for Gordieva and Grinkov, the famous Russian pair team. I have never seen her so excited. She was jumping up and down when they finished skating. She knows how good this team is. Their other coach, Igor Spielban, he trains them in Detroit. Look at that mark.
That is huge.
95.67.
184.35. Leaders by a good margin right now, but again, we still have some other teams to skate, and likely again surpassed by Dubreuil and Lauzon. But Virtue and Moir, what a first trip to the senior nationals, and they continue to make noise. A lot of noise in this building in particular. Now, continuing on, Martin Patenaude, Pascal Denis, 5th after the OD and the compulsory. They were right behind Virtue and Moir. Tough spot for them to skate in, although they've been around for a long time and they should be used to having an experience like that, skating after a team that brings the house down.
And they will skate to music from Moulin Rouge. As you mentioned, Pascal competed with another partner for 17 years, and Martin has spent the last 10 years coaching. These two are just wanting to be out here to compete. 30 and 29 years of age, and I'm quite impressed with how quickly they've been able to gel as a team in only a year.
Similar move to Anasina and Pezera. Really changed ice dance with a lot of their lifts and tricks. Some good tricks, these two, Patenaude and Denny.
They really put on a show. Good for them. They pushed it out. Great flow throughout their performance. They did not let up for a second. Well done.
A couple of seasoned vets. Speaking of which, Wing and Lowe next. Final day of the national championships. Final dance for Martin Patenaude and Pascal Denny. To put it in perspective of how long Pascal Denny has been skating at the Nationals, when he first went as a novice, Virtue and Moir weren't even born.
Isn't that something, eh? At very different stages of their career, but you have to give these two credit for just how much they've done in a very short time together. Very, very determined. You can see the lift there. Because he's on one foot, it ups the degree of difficulty. There are many requirements to the lifts to take it in the 4 different levels of technical difficulty.
Pascal being such a tall skater, I remember when he skated with Jose Pichet, there was such a difference in height between the two of them. It seems that these two skaters, in terms of height, might be better suited towards each other. Sometimes that simple as that in dance.
Yes, it is. Tough to match when you've got a huge height difference. These two, both of them athletically strong and really went after that.
Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe next. In second place by just 0.6.
Les notes, s'il vous plaît, pour Martin Patenaude et Pascal Denny. The marks, please.
And here come the marks.
Now their personal best is 80.5. They did struggle on the twizzle section.
77.01 points.
The mark's a little bit lower for them today, 77.
They dropped. Senft and Gislason are second right now. Virtue and Moir lead. So the two teams that came up from the junior ranks are the leaders right now. Patenaude and Denny just need some more miles, though. They need to be together a little longer, and that's really what it's all about in ice dance many times. Getting a connection and dancing together and starting to get noticed. Megan Wing and Aaron Lowe have been dancing together for an awfully long time. Went to the World Championships the last 2 years. Were second in Canada last year.
And they're working their way up the world ladder. They started in 15th. Last year they finished 11th, hoping to earn a trip to Worlds and crack the top 10 this year. And of course, you recognize the music, Zorba the Greek. did they have a good time?
Yeah.
So did the audience. We'll be back with their marks right after this.
Another team that trains in the Igor Spielband factory with Marina Zueva,
Kinetics Fitness, Rob. Thanks.
Megan Wing, and Aaron Lowe want to get back to another world championship. They're really in a good position here again. Even if they did fall down to third place, LaFave and Markov can't go to Worlds this year. But, you know, their goal is also to get to the Olympic Games next year.
And that's why they've stayed in so long. They desperately would like to represent Canada at Olympics. They have a smoothness and a finesse that only comes with years and years of training. As far as their top 10 aspirations, they've got to get a little more speed in the final minute of that program.
So they move into first, 1:94.59. That's the score to watch, because really the battle here is for second. And I know that LaFave and Markov can't go right now, but they could go next year, and even to the, if Arseni can get citizenship, to the Olympic Games. So a serious message could be sent to Wing and Lowe if LaFave and Markov should finish in second place.
Very powerful and athletic team. And skating to a collection of popular music, freestyler, and music by Madonna, and then Pump It Up.
Very dynamic team. Not been together long. We've seen it all here so far this afternoon, from tangos to Zorba the Greek to techno pop.
There's some variety, the spice of life. It's good to see here. And doesn't this remind you of Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz's Michael Jackson Olympic program? You can see the influence in her choreography.
You better be in shape to do this 4 minutes of music. There are no rest stops.
Well, funny you should say that, because they really have up their off-ice training so that they have the strength to drive it home.
Well, their coach and choreographer, Lowe,
Hang on.
was one of the best athletically. Boy, just hanging on at the end.
Oops.
You know, for 3 minutes and 58 seconds, that was pretty powerful stuff. Defending champions next. Boy, a wacky ending there. Chantal LaFave almost needed a helmet. Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz, remember, had a bit of a bad ending as well at an Olympic Games, just the final few seconds. Here's their stuff.
Very athletic, powerful style. Their style is quite raw and unrefined, which on one hand is very exciting to watch. On the other hand, it lacks some clarity. Watch this twizzle section here. And Arsini touched down after the very first twizzle. There you go, you could see. And so that drops it down probably 2 levels. Now, the technical specialist will be watching that and assessing a value, and it's something that's hard to pick up for the untrained eye, but there's 3 people on the panel specifically watching for that.
That wasn't planned, by the way.
Well, you know what? They compensated. They made the most of kind of an awkward situation.
Yeah, looked like they were playing Twister.
Kind of worked to the contemporary music, a contemporary pose.
Again, you know,
But it's tough because it's so close with Wing and Lowe. That little step down on the twizzle can make the difference, and they're you know, half a point separating them.
Well, again, in dance in previous years, I mean, you go back for a long time as the judges take a look at replay. Remember, it didn't matter sometimes about the mistakes. They still judged according to protocol, reputation. Under this system, those marks should come off, and we'll see.
And this team has a lot of momentum coming into this competition.
The total score,
93.01, so Virtue and Moir actually have a better free dance. Second best, LaFave and Markov, and right you are, Tracy Wilson, because the judges caught it.
in second place.
They are second. They'll be on the podium, but Virtue and Moir did have a better free dance and closed the gap. So Virtue and Moir are going to finish 4th. LaFave, Markov 3rd. Wing and Lowe will go to the World Championships again because Marie-France Dubreuil and Patrice Lauzon can mail this one in. They have a huge lead, but they still have to put it down.
And this is an extremely difficult program to Peter Gabriel's Taboo. And as you can see, it's a tribute to the Native American people, as Patrice Lauzon's grandmother is part Native American.
Obviously, this dance has come a long way from early in the season. It's a little scratchy early on.
Well, that's because they had a high degree of difficulty, and it's very difficult to refine in only a few months. It takes many months, and we're seeing the benefit of all their training.
Again, a very demanding program. You can see Patrice really sucking for air here. One thing this team is not is cliche. They do their own stuff. They're in some ways like the Duchesnes were. They want to set their own mark. We'll win another Canadian title when we come back, and we'll be heading to the Worlds. They've always been innovative. They have always been one of the technically superior teams in terms of tricks. They have a lot of tricks, and they up the ante all the time. This is a big departure from the original dance, Singing in the Rain.
Well, this is a very difficult piece of music. It's the kind of piece of music that doesn't carry you. Singing in the Rain carries you with it. You have to carry this piece of music. It had a steady beat that went on from beginning to end. So it was difficult because within the program there was not a lot of variety. It was a constant all the way through. This is a very difficult piece of footwork. They're skating close together. There isn't a minute where they can kind of catch their breath and just kind of settle in and relax. It's non-stop. I like the way they kept the character of the music and the dance with the lifts. They didn't lose it when they went to do the lifts or the spins.
Through the years, they have had free dances that, nothing against this team, but a lot of teams pick music where the crowd really knows it. And you mentioned that, it kind of carries the crowd along with them. They may have been hurt through the years from crowd response because of the music selection.
Crowd response, and it is hard as you're performing the piece of music if you have to carry it because you don't settle into it. But who knows? Maybe they will provide that contrast next year, and for their Olympic routine, go with something maybe more conventional or lyrical, and it'll only look better because they've gone off on this vein with this music.
They, however, again, a top-ranked team in the world, top 10-ranked team, 8th last year, again, favored here, 2:17.54, had a big lead.
A personal best with that score for them with the free dance.
So back-to-back now for Dubreuil and Lauzon, and now 3-time Canadian dance champions. Wing and Lowe going to the Worlds again, second again, LaFave and Markov in 3rd place. But again, remember how close it was between Wing and Lowe and LaFave and Markov. Not so after the free dance. Virtue and Moir, first trip to the senior nationals. And look at those two junior ranked teams, 4 and 5. They are now on the national senior team, and I'm sure we'll see also those teams at the Junior World Championships in Kitchener next month. And some of the other dance teams from coast to coast that skated here, for many of them, just being here is what the Nationals is all about. And let's go down to Dave Randorf again with Marie-France and Patrice.
Canadian champions, one more time, congratulations to Patrice and Marie-France. They're still catching their breath. As always, a very demanding performance from both of these athletes. It does take a full season for a program like this to really mature and gel, doesn't it, Marie-France?
Yes, it does, because all our elements are really risky, especially our lifts. And we want to keep it that way because it's our trademark. So, yeah, we're pushing the body to its limit right now.
Speaking of pushing the body, you had an injury last month at the Grand Prix final. You're okay?
Getting there, but I'm used to getting treatment every day, and this week I haven't gotten any. So today it was a little bit sore.
Patrice, tell us about the story behind this program. Tracy told a little bit about it before it began.
But I have some native blood in my family, and we love me and Mary love very much the spirit of the Native American, the way they live and stuff like that. So it was very honoring for us to do that program.
Good luck at the Worlds, guys.
Thank you.
Marie-France Dubreuil, Patrice Lauzon, Canadian champions one more time, and that does it for a week's worth of competition here at the 2005 Canadians. Will be back to wrap it up in London after this.
Well, time now for our Colgate winning smiles. Smile and a country will smile with you. Everybody was smiling this week. If you're a fan of great women's skating, Joannie Rochette. She's still beaming. First national title. First time Lutzes landed junior pairs. Megan Duhamel and Ryan Arnold. That's worthy of a smile or two. Sean Sawyer. People in the Maritimes are smiling. Edmundston, New Brunswick smiles. A bronze medal. If you could bottle a smile, it would belong to Buttle. Jeff, national champion. Marie-France Dubreuil, Patrice Lauzon, dance champions again. Golden smiles again. Three-time champions of dance in Canada. And off to the World Championships where they want to keep smiling. You're watching the BMO Financial Group Canadian Figure Skating Championships. Another interesting week at the Nationals. Always one of our favorite weeks of the year. See so many trends develop and patterns in the skating world. The dance champions and the pairs champions don't change. We have two new champions in men and women's, Joannie Rochette and Jeff Buttle. As for dance, this also might be signaling a year where we might down the road be seeing a new era. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir making their mark at the senior level.
Well, I think many people here feel very comfortable about the sport's future in Canada, particularly in the ice dance. And with Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir, I mean, the only thing that's kind of holding them back right now is that they're so young. The 15 and 17, they just haven't quite got the size and strength to perhaps challenge for the best, but they have everything else, and it's quite delightful to kind of just see them come out here at home and light up this audience.
And they'll be at home at the Junior Worlds too in Kitchener, and you have to think they'll have another hometown crowd. London did a great job this week hosting these nationals. London had a lot to cheer about. Chris Mabey in the men's event, and these two in ice dance.
Well, they've had excellent coaching right from the start because their basic skating skills allow a smoothness and a flow that is just beyond their young years. And those are the kind of qualities that we saw in Shaylin Bourne and Victor Kratz. And if you have those, you can get to the top.
Not since Bourne and Kratz has a junior team made such a big leap to the senior level. Keep in mind, Bourne and Kratz went from the juniors and won the seniors the next year, which is virtually unheard of now. But this is our Chevrolet performance of the day. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir of London. Man, they can dance. Fourth place, not bad at all. Dubreuil and Lauzon win at the 2005 Nationals in London, Ontario. So here is the world team that will represent Canada at the World Championships in Moscow. Dubreuil and Lauzon, Wing and Lowe in ice dance. And again, placements for the Olympics will depend on what happens in Moscow. Canada hoping for a medal this time. No medals last year in Dortmund, Germany. World Juniors are coming up too. Don't forget, we'll have highlights of the Canadian Juniors March 12th. And next week, the Parade of Champions, all the medal winners, a gala night. Check your listings for the BMO Financial Group Canadian Championships. So on behalf of Tracy Wilson, Debbie Wilkes, Dave Randorf, our entire crew here, and on behalf of the 254 skaters who skated their hearts out, thanks for watching, everybody. So long from a memorable Nationals.